A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University for the Storm Report for October 31st, 2022. It's the Halloween edition on the program, and once again, another jam-packed program for you here tonight. We will talk a little soccer with head coach Ted Kryzweicki, and the soccer program is ascending upwards. We're going to talk with Coach K all about his season success and where they're going to go in the postseason. And, of course, we will also talk a little football with head coach Jeff Bowen. So let's talk a little football with JB here on our second segment. Let's welcome everybody to the show. Ed Cole, my friend. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Mr. Derryberry, good evening.
It's a pleasure to have you once again. Ted Kryzweicki is our guest. Ted, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Great.
Good evening, Coach.
Yeah, I'm doing well, and thanks for having me on again.
It's great to have you. First and foremost, anytime that ACU beats Ottawa in tiddlywinks, rowing, lawn mowing, baton, dart throwing, whatever it is, it's always a big win, and it's also sweet, too. 2-0 on Saturday, and not only did you get the shutout, but it kind of clinched things for you as far as your standing in the Golden State Athletic Conference champions for the 2022. Congratulations, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, it's always it's always a great game. We've had some good matches over the last couple of years since I've been here, and they're a very talented team. So I think getting a result against a talented team is always something that you're really happy with. So really pleased with how our guys played the game Friday for sure.
Plus, you got clutch goals scored, and you got clutch goaltending as well.
Yep, we had a couple big time saves from our goalkeeper and our back line, and I think as our team played the game, as the game went on, we really locked things up, and I was really impressed about how our guys defended as a team. So that's something that we focused a lot on last week, and we knew we had to defend against the high-powered attacking players that they had, and our guys worked for it for sure.
No question.
And, Coach, how we talked about, like you said, the goal scoring and the goal keeping, but 3 assists on as far as your team is concerned. So up and down your roster, everybody's contributing, whether it is through an assist or it is through a goal or saving goals or playing solid defense. How do you like the makeup of your team as far as your men doing what they need to do with their specific assignments to get these victories?
Yeah, it's been wild over the course of the year. I think to see different guys step up in big moments. You know, normally you think you have 2 or 3 guys that are the guys that you lean on to make big plays in big moments, and it just seems like every game it's somebody different that steps up. So it's a great thing. I can't say I've been on many teams, and I've been a part of many teams or programs that have had that type of contribution across the board, but I think it also can make a team, you know, I think about when we plan for teams, it can make a team difficult to plan for when you have to think about, okay, where their chance is going to come from, where's their offense going to come from. And I think our guys have done a great job of, you know, trying to solve problems when teams present us with a different problem and, you know, finding different ways to go about, you know, scoring goals.
Right.
So,
Coach, when you're in that situation and you have different guys stepping up on any given night, and you're in a scoreless match, and the idea is that you got to stop and play, and you're going to have a little consultation with your team, how do you kind of build them up and get them psyched up for that moment? You know that any one of the 12 or 13 guys that you're coaching at that time could come up and give you that big goal. That's got to be somewhat rewarding for you, knowing that I don't know which guy it's going to be tonight, but one of you is going to come up with this.
Yeah, and that's been, I think even within the team, that's been the feeling. I think as we get into those moments, there's always, you know, stoppages of play throughout the game, whether it's an injury or even halftime or something like that. We've been in a lot of games where it's been deadlocked at halftime, and it's been 0-0, it's been 1-1, and we know we've got another 45 minutes to battle, and it's just about, you know, continuing to stick to really kind of our DNA as a program and staying focused, you know, as we're getting into those difficult moments and kind of locked in on our game plan and locked in on the style of how we want to play and our principles of play that we talk about. So trying to stay focused on the things that, you know, we're in control of and that we're able to execute on, I think can give our guys a little bit more confidence in going and doing the job. And kind of knowing their roles. So we've tried to stick to that, and I think our guys have latched onto that, and, you know, they've come up in big moments for sure.
That's called the buy-in, Coach, right?
Yep.
Coach, we had you on earlier in the season. We talked about the kind of the monster schedule you had earlier on with so many different road games. But when you came home, you took care of business. For the second straight year, 5-0-2 at home. You've really built a home field advantage here in Glendale as far as that's concerned. What is it about playing here at home that makes that brings out the best in your team?
Yeah, well, I think the number one thing is you get to wake up in your own bed and play a game, which is nice. You know, with the travel, and I know football's had it tough too with the trips that they have to take. But you know, when you're driving a few hours to play a game, and you know you're staying somewhere and you're getting up, it can make it tough. So you got to find ways to build rhythm into your trips, and keep freshness as you're traveling, which can be tough. But I think we have a good rhythm at home of how we go about our game days and how we plan and prepare and how we kind of execute the night before. So I think that's been helpful to us to kind of have a rhythm. And also tonight, this year's been awesome with playing at night. Like, we didn't have that last year. So I think it was crazy. We played a lot of games in the day, as football did too. And I think anytime teams would have to come here, it would always be a concern about the heat, and we were just used to it. So it was never really a concern for us, and I think that it may have helped us. I don't know. It could have helped us. But being at night this year, it's a different problem. I wouldn't say problem, but it's nice to be able to play under the lights and have that environment.
Would we assume that you prefer playing under the lights?
Absolutely.
Okay? It's a given that way.
Yes.
Because I could see some pros and cons at different points of the season. Clearly, when the weather's nice like this, it's going to work. But when it's 100 plus,
it's not going to work.
It's not as ideal, right? So.
Well, it's been a huge blessing having the lights for us, because even last year playing during the day, there wasn't much atmosphere at our games because a lot of our games had to be early, and people were still in class. Some of our guys were even getting out of class to play our games. So
sure.
Oh, wow.
There's not really, there wasn't really much of an environment last year to our games, and I think this year flipping that and actually having people out at night and making it more of an event, I think it's made it more special for the guys to be able to play, and it's created more of a buzz for us when we play those games. And I think some people may say that those things don't really matter, but I think they do. I think it gives your team a lift when you have a little bit of a boost from friends, family, classmates coming to watch you play. I think it's a big deal, especially with the experience side of it, in college athletics.
Just the idea that it's now available, that a lot of people can't get to a game at 11 or 12 in the middle of the day, but now at 7 o'clock at night you can make those.
Yeah.
So it's a huge coup for your team. Coach, 21-6-7 in 2 years. That's a nice record to have. I'm just curious. I know Coach Bowen is not big into the polls, and we don't put a lot of emphasis in that kind of stuff, and I understand that. But from a preseason poll, ACU was picked 7th in the GSAC. Now that's gone away, now you're GSAC champions. Is that, when you look at that, do you say, wow, we overachieved, or they missed it, or how does that motivate you in any way, or is that just hey, a feather in the cap? It's nice notoriety for our program.
I think with the preseason polls, I kind of always laugh at them because every team every year is different, and I don't put a ton of stock in them.
Sure.
So sure, we look at it and we're like, we're 7. We're like, all right, okay. But at the end of the day, like, you have to go out and play the game. So
right. Even if there was one, you were picked first.
It doesn't. To me, it doesn't really matter what anybody says about us in the preseason poll, or we think about anybody else. You have to go out and play the games.
Sure.
So, of course, it's nice to kind of finish differently than we're much more happy that we finished differently than we were picked in the poll. But I think it's a testament to our guys, and we try not to get too wrapped up in the headlines and believing what other people write about us or what people say about us, because they're not a part of our group.
Sure.
Only we're a part of our group, and we know our team. I know our team, and working with them as much as I have, I know they're capable of a lot, and I think they're capable of making a run, and I've seen that in working with them for the past 2.5 months or 3 months. So it's really up to them with how they approach each day in training and how we go out and play the games.
Over those 3 months, Coach, how have you seen these young men grow from game 1 to game 17?
Tremendously. I mean, we had a couple rocky scrimmages early on where we were piecing a couple things together with new players, and things were not clicking. And I think we also spent a lot of time trying to strengthen the culture and the dynamics within our group of relationships, because we had a lot of new guys. So we dropped a ton of new guys into a group. We have some guys that have returned that were a part of the team last year, but it was definitely a new team. So I think it could have gone differently early on, but it was a credit to our guys for trusting in the direction that we were going and sticking together through a couple bumps early on. And we had a couple tough results. We had a couple results that we would like to have back, I think. But even in those results, there was good things that we were able to take away and things that we were able to learn from, for sure. So, that's what you want to do early on, is you want to try to, when you take your lumps, you want to learn from the mistakes. You want to learn from the things that go wrong and try to fix them so they don't happen again. And then try to identify the strengths of, hey, what makes us good? Where are we having success, and how can we build on those things that are making us good?
We're speaking with head coach Ted Kryzweicki here on the Storm Report for the Halloween edition for 2022. Ted, I want to ask you about Carlos Gallardo. We had Carlos on the program a couple weeks back. Great young man, for sure, but 6 shutouts for him. Has this young man gotten better as the season has progressed?
I think so. I think that he's really stepped into not only his role as really a pivotal piece of the back line and the team, but he's grown in his leadership qualities within the team. He's really found his voice within the group, and I think there's a lot of trust with him back there as things have gone on. So he's been excellent. And it helps, our back line in front of him have, really worked hard, and he's bailed us out a couple times. So that's what you want. You want your goalkeeper to make the saves that he has to make, but, you also want him to steal a couple to keep you in a game. And he's definitely done that, for sure. I mean, he's been one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper, I think, that we've seen this year, and we're happy to have him on our team.
You better believe it.
How have these 2 years made you a better coach and a better man?
It's been a lot of learning, and I think growing through the first 2 years with coming in really late last year. I came in, I think, 3 weeks before the season started, pretty much, and had a new team that I'd never met, and it really challenged me to, learn and grow, and also, lean on my faith and the Lord to lead me through a lot of the decisions that I had to make. So I think not a lot of it's been on my strength. I think I've been trying to be like, okay, hey, I don't know what to do here. Kind of lead me in the right direction and try to make the best decisions that I can. So I think in moments where I've not been quite sure, or I've felt a little weaker, having that as my platform to stand on has really helped me. And I think, the people here, the coaches that, I get to see work with their teams, and, the staff and everybody that I work with, I think they've made it really easy to adapt and adjust. And you get to learn from a lot of good people who are really good at their jobs and good coaches. So the peer support here at ACU is really good. Every 2 weeks we have some times where we get to learn and listen. So it's been great.
Coach K, my last one for you. We talked back in August, early August, and your team had just played Grand Canyon at their place, and it was a 3-0 shutout. But it was a game that you learned a lot about your soccer team early on, and you made a few notes on some things that you might be able to do to improve and build upon that experience. How'd that turn out for you here as you are celebrating GSAC champions?
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago, but I guess it wasn't that long ago. Lots happened since that game, and I think it's great to start off the year with a really high caliber opponent like GCU, and they've been really good over the last couple of years. And I think that when you play a team that good early, and I think I may have said this on this program last year, when you play a good team that early, there's really no one else to be scared of, because you've played probably the best opponent that you've seen all year.
Yes.
And you know that you can hang with them, you know that you can compete with them, and it really tests you and reveals what you have to work on. So That's been a great match for us early on, and it's taught us a lot early, and it's given us some perspective of things that we can work on. So, some notes I've taken earlier in the year that I still have jotted down now that, I think we're still working on, but it's been a fun ride.
Coach K, our guest tonight on the Tower Grill, on the Storm Report from the Tower Grill, if you will. But Teddy K, 10-2-5 on your way to the postseason. And as we wrap up here, what do you foresee coming up next here in the second season?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough semifinal. I think there's no easy games. There's not really any easy games in the conference, but there's no easy games at this point because every team's seen you.
Sure.
So you can't really play the game the same the next time you play them because there's going to be adjustments, there's going to be differences. So you have to prepare as best as you can, but also be ready to adjust in whatever team may throw something different at you. So I think it's a great challenge, and our guys are really looking forward to it, and should be a fun couple weeks here.
We're pumped up. We're looking forward to it. We wish you guys well.
Congratulations, Coach.
Certainly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ted Kryzweicki, our guest. He's the head coach of the ACU soccer team, and they're only GSAC champions for the 2022. Postseason's next for Teddy K's team. Let's talk a little football. We're going to turn our attention to Jeff Bowen and the ACU football team right after this. Welcome back to the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside my broadcast partner, Ed Cole. The man in the middle is the head coach for the Firestorm, Mr. Jeff Bowen. 51 dubs for Jeff Bowen here at ACU. Congratulations, Coach. We didn't get a chance to mention that to you, or did we? I don't know.
I didn't know.
Oh, ho-hum. Ho-hum.
Yeah.
Ho-hum. When you win so many games, you're just like, what ifs.
Grateful for every one of them.
41-0 shutout, Coach. The beat goes on for ACU football, and you got it done here at home.
Yeah, in all phases. I thought it was really complete. We've been, for the last 6 weeks, we've been playing really good football.
Yes, sir.
And proud of the way this team's progressed. I'm pretty sure there were some whispers when we were sitting at 1-2 and 0-2 in the league in last place. And to our guys' credit, they stayed in the fight. Coaching staff kept prepping them, and the players improved. Instead of crying about it, they went to work, and God blesses you sometimes if you just work a little harder. So, so here we sit with the chance for win a couple games, and your worst case scenario, you're co-conference champs.
Nose to the grindstone. That's what you guys had to do, right? You just kind of turn it the other way and focus on something else.
Yeah, I mean that's what you got to do, and it's, you stack practices and you stack games, and hopefully you're performing well. And when you look at the teams that are in our conference right now at the top, I'd say we're playing as good, if not better, than any of them. So we're going to continue to hopefully do that. We got a tough one this week with Langston. They've always since year one of playing them, it's always been tough out, and we're excited about that. And
they're coming in off a tough defeat too, so they're going to be a little bit ornery, Coach.
I don't think they saw that. They weren't expecting that,
Probably not,
especially
no.
after the week before with the great performance they had against Ottawa and winning that game in overtime. So it's just typical Sooner Conference. You never know.
Right.
I mean, OPSU is a quality football team that's played. They'd won 4 out of their last 5, and from a defensive standpoint, we just dominated completely on the defensive side, and the defense kept giving the offense short fields. And to our credit, we took advantage of it, punched in, scored a lot of points, and shutouts are we haven't had one since 17, so shutouts in college are tough, so we'll take it.
They're hard to come by. Ed and I were talking after the game, and the one word that we came up with was, as far as your performance against the Aggies, was just that, domination. You just absolutely dominated from start to finish. It was really impressive, and again, on all 3 phases.
Yeah, it was all 3 phases, and so hats off to the guys for staying level-headed, not looking ahead to anything. Not that you should, but young guys often do that. You start looking at the end of the road instead of the path you're on at the given time. So, OPSU has always played us tough. Bob does a great job with them, but we came out and it was thorough. It was a thorough performance by our guys, and just really pleased with where we're at.
Not too often, Ed, do we see the other team lose their composure, but those guys lost their composure at certain points. I think they had one of their coaches get run during the game. Maybe a player late in the game got run, but they lost their composure a little bit, Coach.
Yeah, they lost a player on the I don't know how, but they lost. He won't play this week.
Dickerson, yeah.
They lost one of their best players while we were kneeling down. So and I know they had 7 or 8 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. We tried to play, clean and all that kind of good stuff, and we tried to stay out of the melee as much as possible.
It was such a herky-jerky start, Coach, with all those penalties in that first quarter, 28 total penalties between both of the football teams. How did you get your guys settled and past such a kind of a rough, rocky start, and then everything just took off from there?
Well, the first drive was crazy when our guys came to the sideline. They're like, "Wow, we were out there a long time," and we were offensively, because there was 28 penalties called in the game, and 12 of them were on that first drive. I've never seen anything like it.
That's how we came up with herky-jerky.
Yes.
That's a good way to describe it. But to our credit,
and that's why it turned into a 5-minute and 5-second drive for that first score.
And we're normally not long time drives. We're usually bang bang, try to get the ball in the end zone, let's go. It was just kind of a weird vibe, weird start, but it ended with us putting the ball in the end zone, so we'll take that.
Tyler Duncan knows how to score touchdowns. He's done that a couple times. That zone read for him is a play that has been successful for you more times than not this year, Coach.
Yeah, we've Tyler has done a great job with it, and we do it several different ways. And he's a 4-year starter, and he's got the keys to the car, and he does a nice job with it. So we're proud of his performance, and the key is getting points. It's not about stats and all that kind of stuff. The only stat that matters is what does it say on the board at the end of the night.
When TD pulls up to the the driveway there, the car's it's meticulous. It's just the armor, Under Armour on the tires. Everything looks great. It's just perfectly detailed, and he'll open the door for you.
Yep.
So
he's ready to roll, no doubt.
Kevin and I, we talked about it a lot on the broadcast, just his attitude and the way he approaches the game of football. He'll take a shot, or he'll get a big run, and he'll be up in the opposing defender's face. He did that a lot on Saturday night.
Did.
You saw that, Kev?
Talking a little bit.
Yeah, talking a lot of trash, but I love the confidence that TD has.
Yeah, you got to keep him under control, but like our guys know, I'd rather say whoa than giddy up. So I'd rather pull him back a little, pull the reins in, than have no emotion at all. So, Tyler and I have an understanding. We get to where we need to go together, so we'll be okay.
That would be an interesting conversation.
I'm
That
sure it
fly on the
is.
wall kind of stuff.
Yes,
right there.
yes.
All right, so we there's so many things to talk about. We got to talk about. You mentioned the shutouts, first since 2017, but Keith Sewell's defense. I don't think we use this vernacular, but an embarrassment of riches on that whole defensive front four, and then you want to talk about the front seven. I mean, you guys are firing on all cylinders, and it's not just one guy. It's 8 to 10 guys, 10, 12 deep. It's pretty fun for you, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, when the front plays that well, it's great when you can sit in a base defense. You don't have to bring pressures. The down four are creating the pressures. They're stopping the run. I don't know what they had rushing. Not a lot, if anything.
Oh, Coach, I don't even think they had over 125 yards total.
88
offense.
yards total.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
anemic.
It was thorough, but when your front four can play like that, it just allows you to sit. Everyone thinks, oh, you can do a bunch of stuff. No, you don't have to do anything now. Your front four takes care of it. Frees up your linebackers to flow. They're not, guessing or coming. When you blitz, it's 50-50. It either gets home or it doesn't. Mm-hmm. You either end up on the right side or you don't. And I'm not a big 50-50 guy.
Okay.
So to play in the base defense and let kids fly around and play with confidence, I think that's what you're seeing in our defense over the last month is they've settled in to knowing what they're supposed to do, and they're playing with a high level of confidence. And you can see that, in what we're doing and the points that we're the small amount of points we're giving up if we're giving up very many at all.
Kevin, 29 rushes, minus 6 yards.
Yeah, that's paltry.
Yeah.
That's paltry. And 0 points is paltry too, Coach. That's That's
we use nothing less. Right?
Paltry. We were talking. We use words like minuscule and all kinds of stuff.
Anemic
on the broadcast on Saturday night. Coach, we'll keep it special teams if we will. Sean Bailey is always making a contribution when he gets a chance to kick, and that's the big thing. Win. But Nestor Higuera once again delivered. Might have been the play of the night. There were so many great plays, but the 52-yard field goal, a career best for Nestor, and of course that's a school record. But that was quite a moment for everybody involved, from the snap to the hold from Riley Tucker to making that kick. That was a ton of fun. Yeah,
he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities over 50 yards over the years, but and he's kicked several in that 47, 48, 49 range, and I don't think you're going to find a better kicker in the NAI than Manny.
I agree.
And we're spoiled because when we send him out there, I don't expect him to miss. And that the 52 would have been good from 57. I mean, he just banged it. So I'm glad we got him, and we got a few more games with him.
So, Coach, he didn't start off the game kicking the ball off. I think Abi Olipe started the first part, and then we didn't see Nestor attempt the first point after try either. So we always get we think that's peculiar, Coach. And so when we start talking it out on the broadcast, we're like, you never know. I mean, probably not disciplined. But then Ed said, hey, he only kicked 10 extra points last week, so maybe he's a little bit tender. So we just thought that was interesting that we literally just thought we removed any kind of question when he drilled a 52-yarder as far as his health. So we're like, okay, Nestor's fine.
Yeah, he's good.
Well, yeah, and hey, it is what it is. We have certain standards in our culture that the guys are expected to uphold, and one of them is setting your alarm and be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Okay.
And that's why, over the years, people question, like, why is Bowen sitting these guys? Well, I don't sit them. They chose not to be where they were supposed to be when they were supposed to be there. So it doesn't happen very often, but, hey, Manny took the first quarter and watched a little football and then proceeded to perform well. So God love him.
He was a spectator to begin that game, just like all of us were.
Hey, he's my guy. He knows we love him.
100%.
Absolutely.
It's nothing that we haven't done to All-Americans that have played for us.
Coach, we thought Derek Brush, an All-American, was had a chance to kick on Sundays, and we know it's a tough road to hoe. It's not easy. But Nestor, maybe his leg's special, maybe his makeup special. What is it that separates him from others?
He's just very consistent, in his approach. He doesn't get too high or too low, and I think that's the key with any kicker. I mean, when you're the one individual out there doing it, you got no one to blame but yourself. So there has to be some consistency in what you do and your mental approach towards it, because you don't. I say it all the time. You don't want to be on a roller coaster, you know. You want to be on a merry-go-round. You want the highs and the lows real close, you know. And I think that's the key to being a great kicker. And when you look at his stats, I mean, he hasn't missed an extra point all year. He's only missed one field goal, and that one was from 50. I think it was 52 also, or 52 or 54 that he came up short. So just a consistency in what he does, and hopefully he gets a chance to continue to play.
Yeah, we're all praying for that for sure.
Absolutely. 36, Maurice Powell gets the sack defensive player of the week. That's big news. He had a great game, 9 tackles, 1.5 sacks on Saturday against OPSU. How impressed were you with what Mo Powell was able to do on that line?
You know, you almost take him for granted. Mo is Mo. You know, he leads us in he's our leading tackler on the season, and I'm pretty sure if you walk around
53.
You know, if you walked around asking people, hey, who's leading the team in tackles, you'd hear a lot of names, you know. And guys are playing well. I mean, Jake Farrell's playing well. You know, Moses Smith is playing well. Jalen's playing well.
Jake Farrell,
Tank is doing a great job. You know, there's a lot of guys, but, you know, Mo quietly is the hinge-pin in the center of our defense, you know. If he's doing that taking doubles. You know,
right,
and that frees up our ends for Smith and Farrell and those guys and Jalen to get loose. You know, they're drawing singles because Mo's eating up doubles and still coming with that type of force and making those type of plays. So we're real proud of him. He's done a heck of a job. He's come a long way in his time here, and we still got him for a few more years after this. So
I'm thinking that Maurice spends a little bit of time in the weight room.
Mo will lift
because
weights.
Some guys are just naturally blessed, you know. But this, when we see Maurice Powell, you know, walking through the campus, I mean, we're talking just get out of the way. I mean, I think I mentioned it. Like he looks like Mr. T sometimes. I mean, he's just so stacked and cut up and chiseled out, and you're like that dude is eating all the time on that front floor. I mean, he's just getting it done.
Yeah, he's a specimen. He's put together.
We called Christian Threadgill's name a couple times. I know we mentioned him last week for blocking those kicks, but he was another one of those guys that came in that reserve role, if you will, or just keeping guys fresh. Coach Harris is here tonight too, but just everybody. These guys are just making contributions.
Yeah, Threadgill, if that kid ever figures it out and makes a commitment to taking his God-given abilities to where they are, he could be one of the best, if not the best, edge rushers we've ever had. But you know, he's doing well. It's not that he's doing anything bad, but there's just so much more there that's untapped. And it's our job as coaches to get it out of him, too. But if he figures it out, he could do some special stuff the next couple of years.
You saying Coach Harris needs to get on it a little bit?
Coach will get on him.
Coach will get on him, yeah.
You know, the young man's got to respond.
Yeah.
You know,
I just joke that way because so many of your guys are humble because a lot of guys take that approach and take the look from our coach. That's calm, cool, collected, right? So, Benny's just in that category.
We try to keep it under control. I get a little excited on game nights on occasion, but, try to keep it under control.
Last one, Coach. Big game on Saturday. Of course, it's homecoming, and Langston's coming in town. Set the scene for what's to come in a couple of days.
It's going to be a battle. I mean, from the first time we stepped on the field with those guys, it's been edgy, raw, and not in a bad way. We haven't played dirty games, and it's not that type of a game against them. But these two teams get after each other. I mean, I think it's because the first time we stepped on the field, you know, that we were supposed to be the little Christian school from Arizona, and we hung 55 on them, you know, and won the game. And, you know, but they did come back. It was 55-52 by the end. But, you know, if you look at the series, they've all been close games. We got on them pretty good once. They got on us pretty good once. But the rest are usually really tight games, hard-fought games. They're physical on defense, and they run the ball hard on offense. And this year they got a quarterback that's they're triggering them real well. So it's going to be a heck of a game.
Coach, your series went like this. You went 2-3-2. First two, you took care of business. Lost 3 straight. A couple of them that got you pretty good, 38-17, 34-16. But then last year or year before that, 27-10, and, of course, the overtime win at their place last year. That's the one that kind of just sticks with him a little bit.
Yeah, that was that was one where our guys just stayed in the fight. That was a lot of fun, and then to take it into overtime and win it in overtime, that was special. And hopefully we can duplicate it. We need to if we win, we're in the hunt for the conference championship. If we don't, then we're playing one out and turning in the pads.
So that a win changes the dynamics of everything. What will a win allow us to be available for?
Good question. I mean, I've been talking with a lot of people, and it really comes down to polls and tiebreakers and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of crazy. So all we can control is, we got to beat Langston, because if
that's number one
for them to stay in the race, they have to win. We have to win. So it doesn't matter what next week is, because neither of us can afford to look to next week. We got to win now. And then if we do that, then we'll start looking at the what ifs. But here's the key: we've put ourselves in position to have another week of hard work, preparation, and get ourselves ready to play a high quality football game. I tell our guys this all the time: when you keep winning, when you win, you earn the right to work harder. And that's really what it comes down to. And our guys have done that all year, so I don't think it'll be any different this week for our preparation and then the game on Saturday.
Ed, you don't want me to ask what those scenarios are? Okay, well, we won't ask the scenarios.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we don't screw up the show. That's a fun one. All right, so anyway.
Just continue to win. That's all you have to do.
Well, tell you what, we'll work real hard to get this one, and if we do that and do what we're supposed to do, we can talk all kinds of stuff next week.
Scenario show next Monday. So
there you go.
It's Halloween. We got to cut this one short.
Okay.
Everybody's trick or treat.
Got to get the candy out, right?
Coach, congratulations for you. Another big win. As you stated so eloquently, ACU is in the mix. This game means everything, and we would encourage everybody. We're going to do is it a blackout, a red out? Has the theme been determined yet? Either way, pack the place. That's what we're asking.
Especially for homecoming, of course.
We'll be rolling out in our gold this week. So
all gold?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So it's going to be a
That'll
yellow
be
out, so to speak. And we encourage everybody to come out and get a ticket early and make sure that Langston can get in here and represent. So we'd like to have some fun with that. Coach, that's it for us. We appreciate your candor once
again.
Coach. Yep. And for our outstanding crew, for my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole, of course, for JD and Devin, Coach Harris is here. And I don't know if we say enough about the security around this campus, but Mr. Quinn is probably not paid enough. I mean, let's be honest. That's the truancy of the entire thing. Having said that, I'm your program host, Kevin Derryberry. Until next time, so long for now.
Good night.
Happy Halloween.
Roll Storm.